Hey, how's it going, everybody? Good to be back. Welcome to the Mega Hobby Expo 2024 video. I've been waiting for this one. Now, if you were wondering where Alter, Megahouse, Kotobukiya were at the previous events, well, they're here. They were waiting for this one. And they brought a lot of stuff, especially Alter and obviously Megahouse because it's their event. But man, Alter might have brought like 40 figures to this event, and I'm not even kidding. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Now, I'm a little, limited on time today. I'm in the process of moving. The figures have been packed away. Looks a little desolate back there right now. But yeah, if I don't record this right now, I don't know when I'll get another opportunity to do so. So we better get this video done today so I can get this out as soon as possible. Now, there weren't too many companies at this event, but we're going to start off slow with Goldenhead. Unfortunately, I'm doing this as soon as possible. So I had to write down literally every single name for the figure instead of just waiting for somebody to do it. So this will be a little bit messier than usual, but I'm trying my best. We'll make things organized. So we're starting off with Goldenhead. As you can see, we have a new figure of Rias Gremory. This is the Race Queen version. Pretty sure this is her only Race Queen, so it's nice that Goldenhead is making a figure like this. No Akeno yet, but we are getting Rias at the very least. But we also had a figure of Plana from Blue Archive, another unpainted prototype. She's looking cute though. I like the oversized jacket. I like the umbrella gun. It's a cute design for sure. Very simplistic otherwise. And then we had a figure from Azur Lane. This one I might pronounce incorrectly. We have the Hamiat Mercurial Chocolate Love version. This is actually a 1 3/5 scale. It's massive. So you might have to dedicate an entire shelf to this figure, but maybe you want to do that, she looks pretty good. I do have an extra photo here, but yeah, assumingly she is covered in chocolate. You got this cat motif going with the paw pads, the tail, and a sexy apron, right? But yeah, that's a lot of cat to deal with. And then we had a couple other figures that aren't really new to the event. In fact, this one, whose name is Nia, is actually up for pre-order right now. We'll talk about it at the pre-order roundup, or in that video rather. And then we had a figure of Argus from Azur Lane. This one was shown off a month ago, but honestly, I cannot remember if I showed it before. I think she's pretty. I love the palette. I love the flow of her hair. And I think her face is kind of gorgeous, But I bet this one will also go up for pre-order pretty soon, if it's not already. Now that's it for Goldenhead, so we jump over to Aniplex. They had a couple of figures as well. First up, we had that quadruple figure 4-in-1 of Kita, Ryo, Hitori, and Nijika from Bocchi the Rock. You might be familiar with this scene. It's when they're taking a photo together, and I like it. Now this is a non-scale, so it's not going to be that big. If I had to guess, this will be around 20,000 yen. If you look at any of their other budget figures, they're typically around 4,000 to 5,000, and you got 4 characters here. So I think that just makes a lot of sense. There's nothing super impressive with this figure, and it's not going to be that big, but the idea definitely carries it. This is a very memorable moment from the show, right? Just kind of makes you happy looking at this figure. Certainly a bit infectious in that way. I really do dig the idea. I do wish, of course, it was a little bit bigger, but then it would have likely been 60 to 80,000 yen, because Aniplex definitely prices their figures on the higher end when they can. We also had a figure of Kaori from Your Lie in April. She's in this very pretty dress playing the violin. We did get this announcement last time, or maybe 2 events ago. I will say we definitely have a few figures of Kaori playing the violin, but not really in this exact style. This is referencing the show. I guess I won't talk about it too much, but she's playing with Arima at this point, and it's probably one of the better scenes, if not the best scene in the show. So I assume this will be pretty popular if it looks good when painted. And yeah, I guess we'll move on. I did have another photo just to give you a better shot of her face if you couldn't tell how pretty she looked from that one photo. But I'm pretty sure that's it for Aniplex. There was also these 2 Claynel figures from Umamusume, though I did double check and these were shown off about a month ago, so I might have shown these before, but we have Meijiro as well as Kuren-chan, so there you go. But we'll move on now to Kadokawa, who did not have that much at all. In fact, they had 2 figures, but you might be interested in them. We had Anastasia and V from Fate Grand Order. This one was taking quite a long time to finally get a prototype. and we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for that paint, so who knows when this will actually come out. But I do think she's looking rather pretty. This is a beach style figure. Not sure if I would say a swimsuit figure. It does seem like she has a bikini top underneath the dress, and it does kind of poke through in this cut of the dress down here. But the dress really is like the main point of the design, right? It has two layers to it, that translucent top, and then I guess more of an opaque portion of the dress underneath, lined in flowers at the trim. That'll probably look very pretty when it's done. There is this huge metal rod keeping the doll floating in midair, but also in between the rod and the doll is this like little water bubbly effect, and I do like that they even bothered to do that just so it actually looks a little bit more believable that the doll is floating. I do like the extra attention to detail there. And then next up we had another Liliel figure from 2D Dimensional Seduction. I say another because she just has like 20 figures at this point. And it's kind of crazy considering that show was airing like last season. They call this one the Chaos form, apparently. I don't really know the difference between the different looks and outfits of Liliel, but all her figures do look pretty cute. And it'll most likely have a pink and white color scheme. The blonde hair will really pop on this figure against the blue of her eyes. They're all good figures, but they do kind of blend together for me a little bit, especially as most of them are not painted yet. But we're moving on now to Q with what I think is a top 5 figure of the event. Here we have a new Hanekawa Tsubasa figure from the Monogatari series. Now, I feel like we might have seen this at One Fest. I definitely have seen it before, but I also don't really remember talking about it that much, so we're gonna do that today. Now, I'm pretty sure this is not the original illustrator of the novel, Vofon, if I said his name correctly, but whoever is drawing this, the original illustrator of this figure's design, I gotta say, this is a beautiful interpretation of Hanekawa, maybe even one of my favorites, especially in figure form. I would say this is my favorite figure of her that I've seen to date. But outside of how, like, beautiful they've made her here, it's also such a wild composition that I definitely worry about leaning over time. I have to imagine they're gonna prop this up in some way, just because there's so much hanging off of the stick, all those lanterns that are just hanging down, and that like cloth wrapping around it. Something has to keep this figure up in the back, which is gonna be a little bit of an eyesore. There's like all of this dead space down here, which just feels like there has to be some kind of acrylic or steel rod down there, which is gonna be such a shame. But if you can ignore that, then I think this is like a 10 out of 10 design. You got all those skulls and bones on the bottom, and just like the torn lanterns just look so cool. I love the look of just how damaged this whole figure looks, which also extends to her dress and her top. Right, everything's just tattered and shredded away a little bit. It's really cool. It's really eye-catching. I don't know if it would make sense considering the damage of this figure, but I really hope that they just put lights in this figure as well. Not one to really like get into the light up features on these like scale figures, but I do think in this instance that would be like the ace up their sleeve to make this even better. It's got so much potential, this figure. It's gonna cost like 35,000 yen easily, but like I feel like that's definitely worth it if you're a fan of this character or you just really like stunning figures in general. Moving on, we had Inui Sajuna from Dress Up Darling. This one was also at One Fest, but just figured I would show it off in case you forgot. Surely she's going to be going up for pre-order very soon, and I'm hoping she's only like 16,000 yen. If this was Good Small Company making her, I would bet 13,000. She's literally just wearing a white t-shirt. This is the most simple figure out there, but knowing Q, I'm betting 15,000, 16,000. Definitely appreciate it though that somebody is making another character from this series, because it is all Marin, everyday Marin. Most people aren't going to complain about that, and I don't really feel like that's a big deal either, but it is nice that we have somebody else. Anyway, moving on, we have the Hex from Falselander figure. This one is designed by Neko and is definitely the most like expressive of the Falselander figures. They're either so like stoic, serious, or deadpan. They have like no emotion whatsoever, but she's just happy here. She looks super cute, and I can even say that like the design is a little separated from the other girls that I'm thinking about right now. Something just feels a little different this time around, and I'm not sure what it is. It could be the giant bushy tail or the ears, though I think some other character might have had ears as well. Otherwise, the palette does remain pretty similar to the other characters, white and black, with that like pretty vibrant pink hair. But the clothing detail here definitely slaps the hardest in this design. Like, you got those big cushion, puffy ass sleeves, the glossy gauntlets. Love the pattern or like texturing that they're doing on the leggings. Could be a bodysuit as well. Not exactly sure how her outfit works, but just that visual appearance makes it look very realistic. And I guess if we go back to the other photo, we could see the boots, which look more like armor. The metal plating looks really slick. And not to mention her scepter. Love the design of that. Really cool weapon too. This figure is definitely great. Haven't bought a False Lander figure yet, but this one is among my favorites that I've seen so far. We also had a figure for Himaragi Yukina, bunny girl style from Strike the Blood. Very simple, standard bunny suit, though she does have a pool stick. You don't see that very often, so I'll give it points for that. Certainly doesn't look bad by any means. I do like the sculpting of her fingers for some reason. I guess because I don't have anything else to look at, but I like that they're not, you know, glued against each other. Very basic when they do stuff like that. I like how they're all extended and bending as she's pushing against her thighs and whatnot. We had a figure of Hinata from Blue Archive. Pretty sure we saw this prototype last time, but just in case you missed it, here are some additional photos for you. And then we actually had some male figures from Q's-Q. I feel like hell's freezing over. They never do that. But we have figures for Akira as well as Shiki from Toge Inu no Chi. I do not know this franchise, but I think it's a win at the end of the day because they really don't make male characters. I know they have in the past, but like, it's pretty damn rare. So even though this is like nothing I care about, I'll consider it a win. Now, I'm going to link all of this in the description, and if you look up any of these photos yourself, keep in mind you might see some figures that I'm not going to talk about today, such as Alice from Nikkei, but I've already talked about this figure in the past, which is why we need to kind of just focus on what's new for this event specifically. So if you see something like that, there's a 99% chance that I've talked about it in the past, with a 1% chance that I just missed it, and I apologize. But let's get into that new stuff now from Amakuni. So first up, from Phantasy Star Online 2, we got two swimsuit figures, one for Horshid on the right, and Oktar, if I said her name correctly, on the left. We have seen their prototypes in the past. They're painted now. The palettes are really vibrant, especially on Horshid. That blue really pops. I guess it's a bit softer on Oktar now that I'm looking at her a little bit closer. Definitely more of a pastel approach. I do like her super soaker that she's holding on to, very cute. And I don't know why I feel this way, but I really like the way they painted the lenses on the sunglasses. They just look so good for some reason. But yeah, they're taking different approaches with the swimsuits, of course. You got Oktar's more cutesy, frilly approach. Horshid's bit sexier, very open at the chest, right? Though I suppose they both are, but Horshid's a little bit more exaggerated. Love the jacket or the hoodie that she's wearing as well. The blue just looks so good on her. Like, there's a couple of different tones in there, but it's like heavily shaded as well. The flower looks excellent as like a little accessory. I think it's fantastic. I really do dig it. We also have a figure, let me try and get this in order, of Jean from Phantasy Star as well. Now this one had a interesting name. It's not the typical Jean that you see. I forgot to write it down like an idiot, but I'm pretty sure this one's called like the Summer Innocent Neutral Chaos version. There's like this slight devil element to this one, the spikier twin tails and the horns obviously protruding out of her head. And they gave her a Holt hand, which I think looks very sexy. You got that crest or tattoo, whatever it's supposed to be, on her chest, and she has a very teasing, playful expression. It all really does come together. The colors on this swimsuit figure are also excellent. In fact, I really like the contrast here of not only her skin to the swimsuit, but also like her nails to her skin. The mint ice cream also kind of does a similar thing. And yeah, the glasses here also look really good to me. This one's probably even better than the last two, if you ask me. Though if there's any figure from Amakuni that deserves praise today, it is absolutely the Asuka and Mari inside the AAA Wunder, AAA Wunder from the EVA movies, Rebuild movies, right? And definitely didn't see this coming. This is crazy for them to make something like this. I will say Asuka's face looks a little weird from this one photo, but I do think the ambition of this one is making me kind of forget that. Not that her face looks bad or anything, just not the expression I would have expected on this figure. But yeah, I guess if anything's really gonna hold this figure back, it's like the ship itself and like the way they're painting it does look a little flat in terms of like the dark and lighter gray portions. Not sure if they should have went for like a shimmering finish instead, something glossy, maybe like some metallic paint. I'm not the designer here. I don't know the best approach they should take in this situation, but if they don't make the base look as good as Asuka or Mari will look, because I do trust that Amakuni will do a pretty good job with both of them, then it's going to make the entire figure just look a little bit cheaper than like the price tag that this will absolutely have, which will probably be around like 50,000 yen, if not more. Either way, I said like initially, this deserves some praise, and then I kind of just shit all over it for no reason. I really do like this concept. It's very different from the typical EVA figures that we see. The real draw here is the low gravity aspect and how they're kind of like clinging to the back, making sure they adjust themselves, orient their position properly so that they're, you know, situated correctly. But yeah, it's super cool. Definitely did not see this one coming, especially from Amakuni, but be ready to pay a lot of money for that one. And then we also had the Toru figure from Dragon Maid. This is still the cutest shit ever. You know, this juxtaposition of the busty, really exaggerated chest and the cutesy, gooey, blobby face that they went with. It's just so goddamn effective on me. I don't really want to buy this, but I do love it for some reason. I don't know. She's just like way too cute for what is also supposed to be like a sexy Awuga dynamite body figure, but this is not even the first figure of Toru to have a crazy exaggerated chest. In fact, that other one, I think it was Kaitendo, is like double the size of this, which I think was a turnoff for a lot of people. Wouldn't you know it, they're re-releasing that one and making a special color for it, so it must have been pretty popular at the end of the day. But yeah, this one's just messing with my brain too much. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this figure. It's also a cow print bikini thing, which is really pushing it more on the suggestive side as if it wasn't already there. I gotta stop looking at this figure though before I get tempted to pick it up. Here we have an OC. This is Sarah, a maid getting dressed, looking disgusted. Honestly looks really good. Her face looks fantastic, and the shading on her hair, that's like some of the best hair shading we've seen all day. Though, frankly, like half the figures have not been painted yet. But still, this is a really nice paint job for a maid figure. But yeah, she is just absolutely pissed off. You caught her changing. The dress portion of the maid outfit is off. She's putting on the leggings or the thigh highs, and she just wants nothing to do with you. In fact, maybe she just wants you to die at this point. Not sure. Now, we do have, let me double check if I got everything else. I did not. Okay, so we had a couple of announcements from Nikkei, from Amakuni. This one is masked in a swimsuit. Honestly, if they made her normal outfit, that might have been my first Nikkei figure. I really like her design. This one looks very good too, but just not a swimsuit collector. I do like the barrel of Chug Jug or whatever you call the drink from Fortnite in the back there. But I bet this will look fantastic. Just not really something that I'm looking for. Maybe I'll change my mind though when the figure gets its prototype. Also, I just really like how mad the bird is back there. Like, what's its problem? I don't know. This is Full Wang wearing a bunny style suit. Very standard stuff, holding a glass or two though, filled with ice. The ice has kind of fallen onto her chest. Must be extremely cold, but doesn't seem like she really cares. Also, the entire suit and the leggings are just drenched. I do hope that carries over into the figure, because that'll help separate it from the pack. I don't know what this thing is supposed to be. I've seen jokes that that's like a vibrator maybe. I don't know if that's actually what it's supposed to be, but you got that like weird bunny clip on the suit itself. But yeah, we'll see how that one turns out. And then there was a figure of Viper. I'm assuming some type of swimsuit figure as well. You do get a hammock with this one, and there's like her bag and a bunch of flowers adorning it. This one's got a lot of potential. She is also kind of drenched from like the waist down, the top not so much. I did say swimsuit, though this looks more like a bra to me just because of how frilly it is. Not that there isn't frilly swimsuits, but I don't know, I'm a little like unsure of what this outfit's supposed to be. But I love Viper, and I did not really like the way Alter put out their figure of her in the bunny suit. So this one might be better. This one might be something that I'm actually looking forward to. Another announcement was the VTuber Etra. I have never heard of her before, but she is getting an Amakuni figure, so great for her. Probably going to be very good. And then I forgot about this one. This is from Blue Archive, Shimoe Koharu. Now, I feel like I've seen this exact pose as a figure before. Maybe it's a garage kit, maybe it's a prize figure for all I know, but I'm guessing this is like her standard pose, which is fine, right? Amakuni typically doesn't go too dynamic with their posing unless they're making a crazy Eva figure out of nowhere, but still very cute. Her shy expression, the way she's kind of like holding on to the gun, a lot of like baggy clothes, like things look a little bit oversized for her. Same goes for the socks down here. It's cute, it's effective, and I think that might do it for Amakuni, but I'll double check. All right, so we're done talking about Amakuni, but now it's time to talk about Kotobukiya, and they had a ton at this event. A lot of figures. This is our first big section of the video, one of 3, so we better get started. Here we have a King Halo Umamusume scale. We already get a look at her bonus faceplate, which is nice. Typically, we don't get that until the figure's painted. Looks pretty, similar to a lot of the Umamusume girls, but I do like her hair, how wavy it is. She looks pretty. We have an Asri Aoi Ai figure as well as an Asra Aoi Sui figure, both from Megami Device. These originally are model kits, but they decided to make scales of them. The scaling is weird. It's like 1 to 0.5, something like that, because they're originally very small. This one's very voluptuous. She looks very sexy. I like this one quite a bit. We have Victor and Score Bunny from Sword and Shield, and I know I opened a photo of this somewhere, but I believe if it's not out already, we are getting a re-release of Gloria. These are cool. I'm glad they're doing it. Where's Chris and Totodile? That's what I want. Feel like I gotta wait forever for that for some reason, but we move on. Here is Kiryu from Yakuza. I don't like this that much, and I really wanted to get this, but his face isn't done yet. I don't love the direction Kotobukiya sometimes takes with their figures. They just love that action fight stance, like for everything, where like the game or the anime is about fighting. And I feel like that doesn't fully define Kiryu, at least like the side of him that I like more. I don't know, I would have liked something a little bit more stoic, but really that's just my opinion though. Maybe a ton of people do like this approach, and that's totally fine. I will say, if they were gonna go for this like brawler stance, right, I kind of wish they just gave him a weapon. I think that would have been fun, even just like a traffic cone if they didn't want to do like a bike. I feel like a bike is a bit iconic for him to just like smash over somebody's head, but then they have to sculpt a whole ass bike. And this is a 1/6 scale, and the texturing of the outfit and the shoes look really good here. But another thing that I'm gonna nitpick before I even really have the full, understanding of this figure is that if you play any Yakuza game, they really like to make the characters look as realistic as possible in terms of like the pores and the imperfections of their faces, and I wonder if that's going to carry over into this figure. Now, I've been rambling, and this was like cut up a little bit, so I forgot if I mentioned that a Majima was also shown off at TGS, Tokyo Game Show. I really want both of those 2 figures, but I don't love what I'm seeing yet. Hope I'm totally wrong when this gets painted, because I would like to add something from Yakuza to my collection. Now here's something I definitely did not see coming. We have Onimai figures for Mahiro on the right and Mihari on the left. As you can see, Mahiro is already painted, but we do have the prototype for Mihari as well. These are t-shirt figures. They're just wearing t-shirts, maybe swimsuits underneath. I feel like that would make sense, but could just be underwear as well. Who could say? Early days and only have a couple of photos of them. But yeah, just getting a couple of figures from Onimai out of nowhere, which is nice. I feel like it was long overdue. These are very cutesy. They're not like too suggestive or anything like some of the other figures we've seen from the show. So you might prefer it, you might not. I don't know. But I think it's neat, you know, I like the poses too, holding the hair up, making it look like pigtails. Mihari is kind of just like striking a pose, but it's good. I think it's good stuff. We're also getting metaphor figures. I don't know the name of these characters. Give me 1 second. So yeah, here we have Gallica. I believe this little fairy girl is supposed to be like the protag's like helper, like she just helps you throughout the game. I have not played it yet. I mean, it ain't out yet, but there's also a demo. I could have played that, but we gotta make this. I haven't had the time considering I'm moving as well. I really like this figure though. I like the weird pose that she's in. I like the wings and the pattern on them. The weird ass like jaggy triangle base kind of reminds me of Promare. Like the helmet as well. I think it's cool. And then we had a figure of Juna, which does not have a prototype, unfortunately, but her hair, they better pull that off correctly because her hair is insane in this one photo, and I would hope on the figure it would look just as good. But that's a lot of plastic and painting and shading they have to do to make sure it comes out as nice as possible. Also, her forehead looks massive, but that's kind of cute in its own way. Did you know we're also getting more Unicorn Overlord figures? This is El Tolinde, if I said that right. I don't know why I put an accent on that. And then Scarlet. I feel like El Tolinde, why do I keep doing that? El Tolinde is probably going to be pretty popular, though I know the Dark Elf is more popular than her. I'm sure somebody will make her eventually. And that's the one I want. I know she has like a kind of see-through dress. I wonder if they'll go for that approach on this figure. But I do like me some elf girls, so I feel like this could be one that I might pick up in the future, though I really need to get on that game and play it already. Just have not had the time. Scarlet's design, though, pretty good. I do like this cutesy dress, but also like this hammer, I suppose, that she's swinging with. The armor looks cool, all the belts around her waist, and of course, the drill hair. I'm a sucker for drill hair, so good stuff as well. Prototypes coming along nicely. Alright, so let's keep the good news going, assuming that you like HoloLive, of course, because we're actually getting 4 version 2 figures of 4 different VTubers. Murasaki Shion, as well as Nakiri Ayame, are both getting version 2s. They're wearing different outfits from their previous figure, which I think is the right play. A lot of these VTubers have so many different designs, but more often than not, we just default to the first outfit that they wore on their debut, even though in some instances I feel like their second or third or even fourth outfits look even better. And then we actually got the prototype for Subaru's version 2. You got the ducks down there, the big stars, one's kind of like a shooting star. Different outfit as well. In fact, I like this outfit way more than her default outfit, so I'm glad they're going with this one. I think this figure is super cute. Here's another photo of it, though it's kind of the exact same shot. Sorry about that, but still a great looking figure. And then our last one, let me get the photo of it. Here we go, Yuzuki Choko. So her figure is actually fully painted. Probably gonna go up for pre-order pretty dang soon. So she's wearing the maid outfit, actually serving food, maybe a hamburger steak, not sure, but it's a nice touch. Love that the tail is actually wrapping around her leg, love stuff like that. The gradients on the wing and her hair look really nice, just really pleasant colors all around, pretty vibrant stuff. The pattern work on the chest, like I guess that sheer material, whatever it's supposed to be, really like that as well. On the bottom, on like the dish, is like these cute little demon friends. I don't know their names, but they're adorable. This one's wearing a t-shirt, and they're just helping out, right? And yeah, you got the dish, you got the heart behind her. It's a really like complete feeling figure. It's great stuff. But yeah, if that wasn't enough, we still have like 10 more figures to go through from Kotobukiya, such as the Snowdrop OC figure, a nice icy cool palette, some snowflakes on the dress itself as the pattern. The dress is seemingly using some like semi-translucent plastic and maybe airbrushing some like white or blue on top of it to add some like element of shading. Maybe even like a little bit of glitter. There's definitely a sheen to it, but hard to say for sure the exact approach from this one photo. I do love the lantern though. That like bronze paint looks excellent. I don't love her face. I feel like it looked a little bit prettier in the original photo, but it's not bad per se. I just feel like the lips and the teeth could look a little bit better. But it's still pretty good stuff, you know? We got a figure for Okamura Rin from Blue Exorcist. Clearly is like in full swing of his sword, got the horns out. the sword itself is like ignited in flame. Probably going to be a pretty sick looking figure. I can appreciate the fact that they're not hiding that you need to keep this guy propped up a little bit. At least they're being honest, right? Can definitely appreciate that. We have Tomari Mari, a VTuber. Don't know if she's like independent or part of some branding or a company, but her figure is fully painted. Love her hair, the long twin tails, and the insides of them being a rather nice shade of like reddish pink. I really do like that color. Very Genki with the pose and the expression. It's just super cheerful. Love that like little chubby rabbit down there. He's super cute. It's a great one, you know? Also, she does have rabbit ears as well, so I assume that's her motif and her like branding and stuff like that. From girls band Cry, we have Momoka as well as Rupa. Great show. Check it out if you haven't. But yeah, I think with these two, it rounds out the whole set. So all of them are painted now. I'm sure these will be available to pre-order in October, if not November. I will say, very dark palettes for these two. I don't love these outfits for some reason. I guess I do like Momo because she was my favorite character in the show. Kind of just wish Rupa was wearing something else. I also wish she was actually playing the bass instead of just leaning against it, but you know, whatever. I guess they can't all be rocking out. Moving on from Haikyuu, we have Oikawa Toru. There's a couple of these Haikyuu figures from Kotobukiya, very similar to this, where there's like a tree involved of some sort, and then their shoes are off for whatever reason, so you get the feet fan service, I guess, with this guy. But he just got the tree stump, though there's a lot of like flowers blooming on this one, or the branches actually have leaves, whereas the other ones felt a little bit more decrepit in my mind. Maybe I'm not remembering that correctly, but I do like that this one is a little bit more lush, though maybe it won't look that lush when it's actually painted, but I guess we'll see soon enough. I can't remember if we've seen the prototype for this one before. Jean as like a race queen. I think they call this the summer vacation version, but I think race queen makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, perfect fit for the character, in my opinion. Wouldn't expect Kotobukiya to make a Jean figure, but, you know, the more the merrier. Here we have a new figure of the Medicine Seller. Now, this one was shown off like a month or two ago, but I can't recall if I ever put it in a video, so might as well do it now. This technically counts as like a version 2 for the guy, because there was one from like, man, I want to say like 8 years ago or something, which I really do like. In fact, I kind of like the simplistic composition of that one a little bit more than this one. There's so much going on in this figure, and it's very impressive, but just having him like chill out on that window with just like the pretty colors to it. I think that figure was like kind of perfect for what it is. I hope this one is just as good. There's certainly a ton going on with the smoke trail and just like the layering of his outfit, the umbrella back there, mini umbrellas behind that as well. Unfortunately, I've never seen this show, so I don't know all the references and just details and the specifics of it all, but it's very impressive. It's a super sick figure, and I bet it's going to cost a ton of money. And then our last figures from Kotobukiya are none other than Saotome Shino and Shirayuki Ren. These are both OCs, sexy nurses. I don't know which one's which. I want to say Ren is the black and pink outfit, whereas Shino would be the white and blue. Definitely like the black and pink girl more. Her face and like the way she's sticking her tongue out very suggestively, and I like the highlights in her hair, just really how pink it is on the inside. You don't really get anything like that on Shino, but she's pretty in her own way. I just wish she had some kind of extra color to her hair sculpt, though the shading is still very effective. And while both of their outfits are very creased and a little loose around certain areas, right, I do feel like it's a little bit more effective and realistic looking on Shino, the one on the left, because I might be getting the names wrong here. But yeah, that's going to do it for Koto. Let's jump over to Megahouse now. Actually, before we do, there's one extra figure that I need to like lead into soon that Kotobukiya made, but is also in association with Megahouse, and you'll see that in a little bit. But yeah, I have to gather the photos first, so let me do that. Alright, I'm back. I've gathered the goods, also ate some lunch, egg and cheese on a bagel. It was yummy. But let's talk about some stuff. Now, I did forget about this one, the Aniplex baby doll version of Marin Kitagawa, though this figure is already up for pre-order, so I'll talk about it in like a week or so. If I can get ahead of myself, I will say this is one of my favorite Marins I've seen so far, but we have a ton to go through, so as nice as you are, Marin, I must move on a little bit and talk about One Piece, because We do have some collaboration figures, but before we get there, let's just go over some other stuff really quickly. Now, this is another figure that is actually already up for pre-order, I'm pretty sure. It's like a recoloring of the Boa Hancock swimsuit figure, but it's here, so why not show it? They had so many One Piece figures on display, a lot of older ones. Hard to say which of these are actually going to be re-released. A lot of them don't have like plaques, but some of these have to be getting re-released. But if they're not, you know, just gander at the work the Megahouse have done. Now, we do have a new Nami figure. This one has a weird name if I can look it up. Portrait of Pirates Evolutionary History, Egghead design. I think I wrote that myself because I'm pretty sure it's based off of the Egghead arc. I ain't there yet. But we are getting a new Nami, as well as a new, where is it? I think there's a Bonnie one as well. Could not find a great photo of this figure. If I do, I'll add it in post, but just so you guys are aware, this is happening. One of the bigger, crazier announcements, though, is that we're actually getting a re-release of Jinbei. Now, I don't collect One Piece figures, but I know this guy is like $1,000 or something. He is extremely expensive, and people have been requesting for this to get re-released for ages. They finally did it. I'm sure, say, Derek is extremely excited about this. I can only imagine. I know he wanted this figure. But, yeah, you know what? If I were to get into One Piece, I would pick this up. I love Jinbei. Who doesn't like Jinbei? He's like one of the coolest characters in One Piece. That's just a fact. We do have a new Marco. I think this one is, let's see, let's just get the name of it down for sure. It's a Mass Maximum, M-A-S Maximum. Man, the coloring on this figure is actually beautiful. I think I'm a sucker for like this light blue and green mix, but this is a really nicely painted figure. It's really cool and super dynamic as well. The energy looks great on this one. Probably gonna cost a ton of money. Not a character design I'm like super into, but I think this is kind of like insanely nice for what it is. We also have a Freeing Nami B-style figure, so this one is going to be handled by Freeing. I think this was going to happen eventually, considering that Freeing makes like the Talovru bikinis. They've made some for Bleach. Makes sense to finally get a Nami. Now, outside of this collaboration, we also have one with Kotobukiya. They are actually making a One Piece figure, which I think is the first time ever that that's happened. Megahouse has been pretty tight on the One Piece IP. They want it all for themselves, but not anymore. Kotobukiya is actually making a Sanji figure, and I think this looks fucking dope. One thing about it that makes me like it more than like any other Sanji figure so far is actually his face. Sure, this like fiery Diablo kick that he's doing, this like axe kick that's ready to come down, looks sick on its own. The pose is fantastic. Yeah, he has to be lifted up down here, but you know, we forgive that because the rest of it looks super dope. But I just love his expressiveness. I love like how wide his mouth is, the grit of his teeth, how like angry he looks. Very like in tune with the One Piece art style. One of the more expressive One Piece figures I've ever seen, and it's coming from Kotobukiya for their first figure ever for the series. I guess they wanted to go pretty hard, and I'm glad they are because man, this is really sick. This has a ton of potential. And it's kind of cool that despite being Kotobukiya, they're seemingly going to go with like a very similar base, so it doesn't really like stand out in terms of like every other One Piece figure that might be in your collection. This, I think it's amazing. I think this is one of the best One Piece figures I've ever seen, and Kotobukiya is making it. But we'll see how nice these flames and effects look, because that will definitely make or break this one. That and the face, but I mean, they've killed it on the face. Now, not only is Kotobukiya making a crossover figure, or a collaboration rather, but Alter as well. Alter is making a Boa figure. This is our first look at it, and I think it's looking pretty damn impressive as well. Though it's kind of hard to compete with the Sanji in my opinion, though considering Alter is like, you know, top tier as a figure manufacturer, I'm sure this one is going to look excellent as well. It's very dynamic for a Boa figure. I feel like a lot of them are not, and just kind of focus on like how sexy she is, which she's certainly very attractive, but it's nice to see another side of her. I love the snake that's incorporated into the figure, just coiling around the rock and her legs and stuff like that. The hair flowing outward, pretty dang voluminous. Legs shown off, of course, because you know she's beautiful. And big ass forehead. This is going to look so good. Once we get that paint, this is going to be a stellar piece, no doubt in my mind. But those are the big One Piece figures, I'm pretty sure. A lot of great stuff. Might even be like one of the best One Piece like batch of announcements that we've gotten at one of these events. Certainly feels that way. But let's go back a little bit. to Asuna from Blue Archive. She is getting a figure in the maid outfit. I think this is the only Megahouse Blue Archive figure we have so far. The other figures of Asuna are all in the bunny suit, I think. I can't recall another one where she's in the maid outfit, so I like that Megahouse is taking this approach. You give her the gun, which looks a little goofy, just like the design of it. It's not their fault or anything. Love her face. Her hair is very voluminous, going all around her body. I love that. And the paint seems up to par. Seems like a pretty solid figure all around. But we move on. This is Lucria, so that's the branding of this figure. Fujita Kotone from Gakuen Idol Master. Don't you love it that this girl's got these really fresh sneakers alongside the rest of this pretty standard fair idol outfit, right? Like, it's super flashy up here, but you got that really cool sneaker look on the bottom. Kawaii, like, neon sign behind her and the stars in front. Pretty good setup. Not familiar with her, but I do think she's cute. Love the braided hair as well. Excited to see how this one looks when it's all painted and good to go. Next up, let's see what we have. Oh yeah, I opened a bunch of Melty Princess and small figures from them. So we have Rin and Ayano from Yudo Camp Season 3. These are very small figures. They look a little rough right now. I'm sure they'll look a little bit better when the figures actually come out. I do really like Ayano, like, as a character after finally watching this show. She's kind of underrated. I feel like nobody ever talked about her, but I guess she wasn't in the show that much until, like, Season 3, a little bit in Season 2. Seems like you can also get their bikes, which is awesome. In fact, the bikes look better than the figures of the girls themselves. So, as, like, little miniatures, I think these look great. I don't know the price of them, but hopefully not too much. We also had a Melty Princess of Mihari from Onimai that we saw earlier, right? But she is in a bikini this time. There is also Utena from Gushing Over Magical Girls. Crazy-ass outfit this girl's got. I did actually watch this trashy show just to learn about it. I feel like they've kind of gone a little wrong with her face. I don't love her eyes. They look a little small in my opinion. I get that she's squinting, but it seems like her head is too big for her face. I don't know, like, it doesn't look right to me, but the rest of the body sculpt's great. Very glossy stuff, especially for, like, a small figure. We also got Rukia as a Melty Princess. I forget if I explained what that is. It's just like a very small figure, kind of like a palm-sized thing, but I don't have the exact dimensions in front of me. There was also this girl who is very early in development. I think her name is Tenohira Lai from Mayonaka Punch. I'm not familiar with her, though it seems like she has shark teeth, so I can appreciate that at the very least. I'm wondering if she actually has, like, sand on the bottom of her, because this is like a beach figure and it looks very rough down there, or if, like, the figure's just nowhere near done yet. That would be interesting if they, like, just covered her in sand because she's at the beach, but I guess we'll find out in the future. I think that's it for the Melty Princesses, though. There were a couple of other smaller figures, like Kakashi and Naruto, I guess when they're younger, right? Because Naruto an old-ass man now, and obviously Kakashi is younger there. We got Sakura as well as Sasuke. These are like the childhood versions that kind of match up with that one Naruto figure where he's, like, vandalizing the Hokage monument. I knew they were going to make more of these. It makes sense that they went with these two next. The nine-tailed fox is getting a figure. Look how big this fucking thing is. It looks awesome, very gritty, very edgy. I love the fur texture and just, like, the dark shadows painted in between the fur. Looks pretty sinister, right? Like, they went with this scary approach, I suppose. I really dig it. This looks awesome. I feel like I haven't seen a cool figure of the nine-tailed fox in ever. I don't think I've ever seen one, actually. Circling back, because there was a few more cheap figures to talk about, we got Yu-Gi-Oh!, Obelisk, Slifer, and the Winged Dragon of Ra. Like, toonified. They're very cute, very cartoony. And I love this next one. We got the Red Eyes Black Dragon, same style, doing a little strut, looking adorable. He's my favorite. Moving on, there was a Gintama setup, though only one plaque for Gintoki. I'm assuming this one is going to get re-released. I think there's even a price down there. I feel like I read that somewhere. It might have been like 24,000 yen or something, which is too much. We have Gojo and Geto. I think these are just normal figures. I don't think they're too small. I don't think they're too big. Sometimes they do non-scale stuff, but high school versions of them. I like that they gave Gojo an umbrella. I think it's a nice accessory. I think it's a nice look. He's doing the grin that he's known for. Got the glasses, of course. Geto kind of looks perfect to me. As long as they, like, paint this correctly, I think there's very little to complain about. He's just sitting on the steps. You got that little, like, puddle of water with the leaf down there. It's a nice touch. Yeah, I think they're great. I think they're great, assuming the prices are okay. We had a new Orihime figure from Bleach based off the 1,000-Year Blood War. I forgot to grab another photo of this one just to get like the full body shot, but there's a lot of like energy circling around her, which looks pretty good. I feel like her face could look slightly more on point for like the Bleach art style. I don't know what it is. Maybe the eyes are too small or something, but I don't know. It doesn't fully remind me of like Tite Kubo's art style, which is super iconic, and I feel like you shouldn't mess that up on a Bleach figure, but maybe I'm just crazy. It certainly still looks like Orihime, but that might also just be because of the outfit and her hair and just like the coloring. This one is actually one of my favorites from Megahouse this event. Here we have Christina from Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket, one of my favorite Gundam shows ever. Though I haven't seen that much Gundam, but I do love this one. And Christina's great. This figure is actually based off of very specific arts, so it feels kind of like a legacy piece instead of them doing their own thing. It does have that like late 80s look to it. Not sure if these are the right colors or these are closer to like what they're supposed to be. I feel like this is a little bit too saturated, but these also look a little bit duller than they should. But yeah, I don't know. I just love it. I just love how she looks. I love the lip gloss. I love how prominent her lips are on this figure, but they don't look out of place or awkward. It's just like a really nice mouth sculpt. The eyes look very pretty. The hair is nicely done. And I don't know, her pose is cool too, as she's like bending down a little bit, just doing a stretch as she's getting ready to hop in the Gundam. Here's one from the Gem series, Ayase Momo from Dan Da Dan. I should mention that the Naruto and Kakashi, where they're like sitting down, they look a little bit younger than they do nowadays. Those are also part of the Gem line, so maybe they're not like as cheap as I was thinking. I don't know what this would be price-wise, because it's not like a really big-looking figure. It's not like flashy either. The seam line by her arm also looks pretty bad, if you ask me. I do like her face, though. I feel like that looks pretty spot on. Colors are nice otherwise. And I'm very excited for the show. Have not, seen the early premiere at the movies. Haven't had time to do that. But yeah, nice little simplistic sitting down figure of Momo from Dan Da Dan. And then we had a figure of Kallen, which I assume that's a Chinese dress that she's wearing, but she's also lifting up her outfit like that she typically wears, I guess, or maybe that's a suit. I'm not sure what outfit that's specifically supposed to be. Kind of a shame that it has to be like supported by that rod, but yeah, I love that she has buns. I do love me some bun hair. But yeah, I think that's it. Also, that's from Code Yes. If I didn't say that, I don't think I did. But moving on, though, we have a pair of figures from Hell's Paradise, Yamada Asaimon Sagari, which is the girl back there, and Gabimaru, the boy in the front. I don't know if you have to get them together, but I think the setup kind of encourages to do so. I kind of love the way they are paired up like this. I do have some extra shots of them. Very cool face for Sagari, and you get a better look at Gabimaru's face in this photo here, as he's like pulling down the scarf or like the covering for his face. And yeah, while I guess this isn't the most exciting way to end the Megahouse part of the video, we did get 3 Blue Lock figure announcements. These are all part of the Gem series: Itoshi Rin, Mikage Ryo, and Isagi Yoichi. So nothing to really go off of, but if you like Blue Lock, look forward to these. Now it's time to jump into Alter, who I believe is the final part of the video. Alright, so like I've been saying throughout this video, Alter just brought so goddamn much to this event that I'm actually going to start off with like as many announcements as I can before I get to the prototypes. And we're going to start with Nikkei. They had 4 figures from Nikkei, including Naga in the school uniform. We got Tia, very lovely, Privity in the Catgirl maid outfit, as well as Soda in a bunny suit, maybe to go alongside with the Viper figure that they put up recently. But we also had a bunch of Azur Lane, and this is only the start of it, but we have Uzen here. We have a figure for Shinano, Dreamy White Sands version. We had a Taiho figure, the Seaside Daydreams version, Sexy Bikini for Taiho. We have a figure announcement for Alsace. Not sure if I said her name right. This just looks like the cover of a doujin or something, just like the way they've like got this angle going with the cleavage, the top-down view, the armpits kind of crazy. I don't know, they could have fooled me with this one. And then we had a figure of Elbe, the pure-hearted bad girl version. That's a cute name for sure. Very cute face too, a lot of blush, and the color of her eyes is great. Moving on though, we have a figure, I don't want to talk about that one yet. Let's go to Arknights. I'm leading up into something. So Arknights is getting 6 figures out of nowhere. These are the Gala Night versions. I feel like Mythos just put up a figure of one of these girls, but I would have to double check. But we have one for Ines, W, Schwarz, Unisets, Lin, and Helliger. So I don't know which one's which. There's too many names here. Maybe they're going in order. I don't think they are, though. But get excited for that if you like Arknights. 6 freaking altar figures out of nowhere. And then this one kind of just like knocked me out of my chair last night. So I knew this one was happening. We saw this announced a while ago. Sakuya was getting a figure. She is from the Toho series. Now, I'm going to pull up the arts that this figure is based on. It didn't initially like sell me on the figure. The deviation from her typical look is very drastic in comparison to Romelia or Flandre. The colors are just not what I would expect either, but you gotta admit when you look at this sculpt, it's like, all right, they got something cooking and it's gonna be pretty dang delicious, but yeah, I don't know. Either way, this was probably something that I was going to get. And this is our first time seeing the prototype, and it looks immaculate. All the gears and the clock back there. It looks just as involved and like meticulously detailed and handled as the Flandre and Romelia figure. So I'm sure it'll be great. But out of nowhere, we're also getting Marissa, Yukari, and Reimu. This is actually crazy. This is going to cost so much money if I want all of these, and I don't even know if I'm going to commit to that. I don't think I possibly could, but wow, this is actually crazy that Alter is going so hard on Toho. I would never have expected that. I didn't expect it with just Romelia and Flandre, and then we saw Sakuya, and it was like, okay, that makes sense. She's the maid, gotta make her as well. But these other 3, it's just kind of crazy to me. If I can commit to any of them, it's probably going to be Yukari. I feel like this figure I'm going to like so much when it's done. This just looks so cool, this art. But the other 2 are very pretty as well. And I'm sure they're going to be better than what I currently own, which is going to make me a little sad if I don't pick them up. I don't know, guys. Like, this is actually going to bankrupt me because they're all at least 35,000 yen. But these look even more detailed than Flandre and Romelia, so they might be 40,000. They might be 45,000 at this point. As you could tell, this is the biggest announcement for me. They're all going on the wish list. Whether or not I get them or not, we'll see. I hope they're really slow on this so I don't have to worry about it for a while, but yeah, just crazy. I did not expect to see something like this from Alter. I thought it would be all Gacha. The rest of it's all Gacha from Alter, but this has me very excited. Also, I lied, there's a few other things that aren't Gacha from Alter. And you know, I guess we might as well show those off now. So we have 2 Overlord figures, one of Narbarrel Gamma, who's looking very good. And the other girl, I believe, is named Solution Epsilon, which is not that figure. We'll get to it in a second. Here we go, Solution Epsilon. Yeah, I mean, kind of hard to make a bad Narbarrel Gamma figure. Nice to see her in, like, the maid battle getup here. Her weapon, whatever it is, I haven't seen the series yet, looks sick. Just a bunch of energy, like, sparking off of it. The, like, spear looks a bit skeletal, though I'm not sure, because I don't have a good look of it. And then with Solution Epsilon, it is a very goopy-looking figure. And I love her hair, because she's got the drills. Seems like she's got a very pretty face as well. I should say that Narbarrel Gamma looked very stern, almost even, like, annoyed in this expression, but, you know, final product will tell us the exact story on that one. But hard to say no to some Overlord figures. A lot of these characters have fantastic designs. I guess while we're here, this figure stood out to me. Here we have the Sunazuka Akira Layered My Edgy version. I love that name. I remember this figure because of that name. And they're getting so much mileage out of the color black. This is actually very impressive looking, because I feel like a lot of people like to complain about this, the color black for outfits. It doesn't leave a lot of room for like shading because it's such a dark color, obviously, but because they're using like different types of plastic and they're using like this really nice pattern work on, say, the skirt and the sleeves, got that one translucent sleeve on the right there, or the left of us, but it's her right arm. Ton of glitter applied to the ribbon over here, and then like the rest of the ribbon, or whatever that's supposed to be, has like a sheen to it. It's really just black, silver, and then like a little bit of white, and just the faintest hints of like purplish pink. Like, that's it. Like, there's a stripe here, it's on the chain here, and I think on her shoes as well. But it's a very, like, dark palette, yet it still shines through rather nicely. It's a really gorgeous outfit. I like idol figures. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know this character. I don't really follow Idolmaster like that, but kind of love it. Kind of like really love it, actually. I can see myself picking it up if it wasn't too expensive, if it dropped on the aftermarket. There was another girl as well from Idolmaster. I think this is Ichinose Shiki. If I had to guess, probably the polar opposite in terms of colors here. This is likely going to be a pretty bright figure, but I don't know the palette. That's just my assumption based off her outfit, based off like the parfait that she's eating. I'm assuming that's a strawberry or something along the sort. I got the gold chain like hanging off of the couch, which is a neat touch. But yeah, you know, just chilling, eating her food, just kicking her feet, being very cute about it. Hey, wouldn't you know it, we also had Dusk from Arknights. I remember this one being a standout at whatever event she showed up at, and now she's here fully painted and looking just as good, if not better, than what I was imagining, considering that Alter is bringing their A game to this one. The paint like of the tail and the smoke clouds circling her. I love that this like drippy portion is still included on the figure. It looks so awkward, but I like that it's still there. Her sword is kind of funky, but I like it. It's so vibrantly red, and I think that red is very refreshing on this palette, considering it's very dark otherwise. Her tie, as well as her dress, is all tattered up and ripped to shreds. Looks pretty cool, though. Very dirty looking as well, like intentionally so. The most wrinkly jacket you could possibly imagine. And I wish I had a better look at her face. Unfortunately, this is all I have right now, but I think it's pretty. Those red eyes are very striking to me. This one's going to be fantastic, without a doubt. Also, her green-ass arms and like that gold pattern running up the arms and the sleeves, right? Very cool stuff, you know? I should get into Arknights. I like the designs of Arknights, but haven't done so yet. Have not done so yet. Hey, did you forget about this one? Rin on the Trike from Yudu Camp. A lot of people are pretty down on this one because they're not just re-releasing the scooter figure, which is fair, right? I have not seen the special where this Trike is prominently featured. I don't know what this vehicle is in terms of Yudu Camp, but I will say, and this is going to be a 1/10 scale, I believe. Yeah, this is the right plaque because it says Rin right there. I think her face looks better on this figure than it does on the previous one, which makes sense considering this is the newer figure. They have more time to hone their craft and whatnot. And the bike is still very impressive, or the trike, because it's the three-wheeled vehicle, right? I think it's very impressive all around. It's just a matter of, like, do you care, right? You watch Yudu Camp, most of it, all of it, really, does not feature this, so I can understand not really caring about this one. But the technical aspects of this figure, from the mechanical detail of the vehicle to Rin's whole sculpt and the coloring, I just wish these weren't 1/10 scales. I get why they do it. It would be too expensive if they didn't, but like, it sucks. This is like perfect desk, you know, decoration. Like if you were working at home, you don't want something too big or clunky, something like this. You put like a little plant next to it, probably would look great. But yeah, somebody who just watched the show, I would rather have the previous one. But I don't want to knock this one for any like legit reason. It's just the personal reason. It's just not really what I'm looking for, but they did a great job with it. Asuka, this is actually already up for pre-order. I think this is one of the best Asuka figures I've ever seen. People love to complain about the belly button having too much shading. I'll get into that in the video, the pre-order roundup. I mean, I'm certainly known to nitpick, but I don't really understand that complaint as if it would like ruin this figure, but that's just me. Not really a big deal. Here we have Senji Muramasa from Fate Grand Order. This one's not new. The photos at Fate Fest, whatever that's called, weren't the best. So here we have another look at him. Nice to see that Alter continues to make some male figures every year, just like a few, 3 at most, but it's great. You know, it's still a good looking figure. In fact, it looks fantastic. The flames behind him, I don't even remember those from last time. Maybe that's a new detail they added to this guy, but they look pretty sick. I'm sure this is going to look awesome when it's done. But definitely a new update was Sei Shonagon, also from Fate Grand Order. It's been a bit of a battle between Alter and QSQ on who would get their Sei Shonagon figure out first, because they were both making one with this exact design. And they've been taking so long. I don't know how popular Sei Shonagon is. I've always liked her look. In fact, I should clarify, I like this look for Sei Shonagon more than her typical attire. I love that she's actually riding the skateboard. I was not expecting that. I imagine the bottom portion, that swirl, or the swoosh rather, is supposed to be paint. That would make sense considering the spray can. I guess it could be water, but having like a mix of reds and blues, maybe green, I don't know. It depends if they want to match like the palette of like this outfit, or they want to match like the palette of the original attire that, say, Shonagon typically wears. The red, the blue, the black, right? I don't know. They've taken so goddamn long on this one that I'm still not expecting to see this painted for another 2 years. So I'll forget about it for now. But I'm loving what they're showing off so far. I think it's great. Love the tummy too. Very nice tummy on this one. All right, let's find some more figures to talk about. I think I talked about all of those. Oh, here we go. Some blue archive. So we had two, we'll get to Azurlane in a second. We actually had 2 Toki figures from Blue Archive. This is like the normal version of Toki, right? I don't think it has like a classification. It's just Toki, the one you know, the one you love. But then we also had a bunny version of Toki. They also call it the Memorial Lobby version. You guys can explain to me what that means. I'm assuming that's like the event that was going on. But yeah, kind of crazy that they're making 2 different Toki figures at the exact same time. Like, they didn't have to do that, but they're doing that anyway. We already do have the bunny figure from Good Smile Company, even with that suitcase over there, but completely different style of figure. She's laying down completely with like the shoes coming off and stuff like that. I kind of like it that they just kept her down there, right? Didn't try and make this a standing up figure. Sometimes some companies do that to awkward results. If they were going to do something like that, maybe like have a raised platform at like a 45-degree angle or so, but it's fine. But yeah, just kind of crazy that we're getting 2 Toki figures, and I'm sure they're both going to look really good considering it's Alter. Do we have any other Blue Archive figures? Let's see. No, but we have Nikkei up next. Noir and Blanc? I actually don't know how you say her name. I think it's Blanc. But this is the bunny duo figure, the combination of the 2. Probably going to cost you like 50,000 yen. But you could get a bargain here. But man, I don't know whose hair it is, but they're so long. Like, maybe both of them have very long hair, but there's quite the volume to this one. I don't know if we get a back shot, poor wording, of this figure, but yeah, there's a lot of plastic on this figure. The squish of Noir on Blanc looks pretty good. We have the fishnets sculpted on. I don't know if those are actually going to be sculpted on at the end of the day, or if they're going to use like a real material. I don't know if I have a preference in that instance. Most companies, if they're going to do fishnets, would either like paint it or use like the real fabric, but actually sculpting the lines might look better. I don't know. But yeah, you also do get the pole, which is nice. Not that it, you know, is going to cost too much for them to add that, but just so it makes more sense and it matches up with the art, which I think they feature somewhere, maybe not. Yeah, I'll put the art on the screen right now that I brought it up. But yeah, there's also some coins floating around the base on the bottom. Yeah, there's a shoe missing on this figure, because why not? Let's get that feet fan service in there. Their faces are both very pretty. Like the way they've sculpted the mouths, a little bit of depth there. The snaggle tooth, the fangs, very cute. Anyway, I think that's it, though, because Viper is not new, and these are the other figures scrolling up. This one, though, let me just jump here. I can't believe they're making another Bremerton, the exact same, like, style of figure that Alpha Max made, except there is a bonus to this one. You do get the hat, which is nice. There's, like, knives thrown into it, which I never knew. And there's also a bonus head, which they're not showing, which is crazy, so now I have to throw it into this video as well. But it has like her normal hair, like the pigtails, which is great to help differentiate this one from the other one. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like Bremerton's face looks a little weird here, and she's my favorite character. I don't know if her eyes are like too far apart or something, but something looks a little bit off to me. It was always going to be a good pose. I bet the hair is also going to look nicer here than it does on the Alpha Max version. But yeah, not every day that we get like the same exact pose and everything between 2 companies. But there are a couple of differences between the 2, like the hat and the bonus head. And she's painted already, so yeah, we'll get that up for pre-order pretty soon. You might have noticed this one. This figure actually went up for pre-order like 3 days ago. It's like 31,000 yen or something. We'll save it for the pre-order roundup. I really need to finish this video tonight. It's like 5 p.m. already. and I gotta go paint a room tomorrow. I'm not gonna have any time if I don't finish this tonight, the editing and everything. So New Jersey is getting a figure from Azure Lane. This is her normal outfit, which is so good. It's actually so good. I love this figure. I don't need it. I don't need it. SpongeBob dehydrating. I don't need it, but man, I really, really like it. It's just really the hair and the coat. But I also like her, like, face. They just gave her a cat mouth. It's not like she's smug or anything. They just made her face look cute because of the mouth, and I like that. Also, I would say kinda modest in terms of proportions. I mean, not totally. And it's not like I'm against, you know, exaggerated anime figure proportions or anything, but I like in this instance that it's kind of kept under control, but still has that like level of voluptuousness that you probably want in an Azure Lane figure. Can't wait to see how this looks painted. I really want to see how nice that jacket looks. Like the inner lining of it all just looks so comfy, and it's like slightly creased and wrinkled throughout the whole thing. I wish you could see behind the figure as well, because like the hair is going to be nuts on this figure if like any of her other figures are to go off of, because she just has like the longest hair in the series, maybe. I don't know, but I'm in love with it. I know I won't want to buy it because it'll be like 40,000 yen, but we really do like that one. We really, really do. I should not have gone out of order. I do not remember the names of these characters, and that's the struggle right now. I think this is Musashi. I'm pretty sure we saw this last time. This is just like the stand, an acrylic stand of the figure. They probably did not want to lug this one around. I don't blame them. This would probably very easily break, especially considering that she's like suspended in midair, assumingly lifted by her tails, which are so goddamn big. Like, if New Jersey is gonna cost 40,000 yen, and that's just a guess out of my ass, this one's gotta be like 50,000. There's just an abundance of plastic here. I am worried about the price of this one. Be afraid, be very afraid. I believe this is Algerie, the lightweight version. The girl with the big mace. Love me a big mace. The colors are very vibrant. I would not have expected this like bright red on a figure like this, but I love it. That's my favorite color. I love red. And another girl with some nice drill hair, only on the front though, but that's okay. We still like that too. You know, pretty dignified looking, a little royal in just like the design of the clothing and whatnot, which would make sense. I feel like that adds up. Next up we have Ager. This is the maid version. There's a little manju just like burrowed into her for some reason, just like chilling by her stomach. Not a bad place to hang out. She's doing a like provocative hand gesture. I won't do it. I feel like that can get me in trouble. Maybe, I don't know. As if looking at anime figures like this wouldn't, but who knows? YouTube's weird sometimes. Yeah, this is the one where her hair is like splayed out all over the place. It's going over the couch. It's like all around the base. This like circumference of the base is going to be absolutely massive. So prepare yourself for that, because this is a 1/7 scale, and you can already tell that disc looks enormous. But yeah, she's hot. She's definitely sexy. That'll make a good one. I don't know if I wrote down this one. Hold on. Regensburg, Dark Dragon Brilliant Beach version. Sling bikini, awooga, okay. But she also does have like a little towel behind her. Love how the tail is like censoring her a little bit. I mean, there's nothing there, but it also kind of works like convenient censorship. And her horns are sick. How big they are. Moving on though, this is Taiho. This is the Sweet Time After School version. This does not look like Taiho to me. Not saying the figure looks bad, but like compared to every other like figure of Taiho, I had to look this one up. Like, I did not realize this was her. Got the whole cat on this figure. It looks so cute. I love the cat. The leggings look great, shading's on point, her hair has nice gradation to it, but really just like at the tips, the hair will look great otherwise, but just noticing that the gradation's kind of only there. Maybe on the ponytail as well, but hard to say in these few photos. I don't think so. I think it's only the bangs. Not really expecting too much in terms of a base, but you do have the pillow back there, her bag, and just like a stack of notebooks that she's resting her feet on. You get a little bit of fan service with the top unbuttoned just a little bit, a peek at the bra, but yeah, moving on. The Glorious Pungent Plum version, absolutely ridiculous. Her whole ass is just out. That's kind of nuts. Her face is very pretty though. I mean, this is a, in quotes, glorious figure for sure. Her eyelashes, man, That's a very pretty, like, set of eyes. That's a stupid way to put that. Her eye decals are exquisite. The color is great too. Goes along nicely with her blonde hair. The shading of her hair too looks very nice. And the kimono that she's wearing has a really nice shimmer to it. Very eye-catching just finish on this kimono. But, you know where you're looking. You get where you're looking. I know where you're looking. You know where I'm looking. We're all in agreement here. Anyway, yeah, that's a really pretty one. Who is this? Did I write this one down? I did. This is the New Orleans bunny suit version. Now, Azur Lane, a lot of bunny suit figures so far. Most of them have been handled by freeing. And I don't think a lot of people like those. I see a lot of them drop in price. I see a lot of people complain about them. I can't imagine they're that bad, but what do I know? I don't own any of them. But it does seem like some wasted potential considering the effort that Azur Lane puts into the bunny suits. Like, no two are the same. Like, none of them look like this. You might get a stool with another girl, but the suit itself or like the outfit. In fact, I'm calling it a bunny suit. It's a dress. There's no suit here. It's just the bunny ears that made me go with that wording. But still kind of would fit alongside any other bunny figures you have. But yeah, it's nice. It's pretty. It's got like a wine glass too. Makes it more fancy, you know? I dig it. I definitely dig it. I do wonder, though, if this is actually our last figure in the video. Here we have August von Parzival from, of course, Azur Lane. Now, I looked this one up on MFC because I forgot to write her name down, and the photos there are so bad. Like, they did not update them with these photos from Ami Ami. Maybe they don't want to, but definitely makes this figure look 10 times better than it does over there. So you're getting a great look at this figure of August, and it's another one where like the hair is so long that it just like goes all the way to the bottom of the base. Not as long as Ager, but certainly no slouch when it comes to a voluminous hair sculpt. You are getting a great look at her thigh, certainly like the butt as well, because of the way she's sitting. I don't know if it's just me or these photos. Maybe I've just been staring at the screen for too long, but I almost feel like there's this, like they cranked down the opacity from 100 to like 95 on the chest. I don't know if it's just me. It just almost looks slightly, ever so slightly see-through. I don't think that's the case. I think I'm actually going crazy, but I feel like they painted it in a way where it kind of makes it feel like you're seeing the chest through the cloth. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's also happening like near the feet as well. I think that probably will be the case, but again, it is like ever so slight. But yeah, you also have that like throw blanket on the couch as well. Painted in gold for the most part. I don't know if that's the only color. It is. Okay, very nice shimmering blankie there. And yeah, her face is very pretty, you know, covering one eye, but makes her look a little bit more mysterious, kind of. Just a little bit. I think that's it. I think we talked about everything. This figure went up. Don't yell at me. The Melty Princess Marcille is available to pre-order right now. I feel like your face looks a little off. Doesn't really remind me of Marcille. They put a lot of attention to detail in her feet for some reason, but either way, that's going to wrap it up for the Mega Hobby Expo for 2024. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If I had more time, I would probably discuss like what my favorites were or something like that, but I gotta edit this. I need this out on Sunday. If not Monday, I'll make sure it's out by then. Thank you very much for watching. I bet this was like an hour long, hopefully not too much longer. If you want to support the channel, like and subscribe, and consider supporting the Patreon if you would like to, if you can. Would mean a lot. But either way, take care, and I'll see you around. Later.